Tonight, it's a marquee matchup on the mound. Two Cy Young candidates in Sonny Gray and Dallas Keuchel square off. Keuchel's Astros are in first place, trying to reach the postseason for the first time in 10 years. The lefty leads the league in quality starts and wins. Sonny Gray is emerging as one of the great arms in all of baseball. His ERA is second best in the American League, and he has double-digit wins. There is no doubt he is the leader and the ace of this A's staff. It's Keuchel and Sonny, Astros and A's, and it starts right now. From the HOU at OAK Coliseum, it's game 2 of the series. A's lost in extra innings last night. Tonight, they will send their ace to the mound, Sonny Gray. He will be opposed by Astros ace, Dallas Keuchel. How about that pitching matchup, folks? We're looking forward to it. You'll see it all tonight right here on Comcast Sportsnet California, the A's and the Astros. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along Eric Chavez. I'm Glenn Kuiper. You saw the pitching matchup. We have been looking forward to this for, 3-4 days now. Sonny Gray making his 23rd start, and always a big deal when he starts here at home. The fans love watching their ace.
Yeah, and ever since Sonny's put on an A's uniform, he's been really dominant the last 3 years, and he's definitely the ace of the staff here. Reminds me a lot of Tim Hudson when he takes the mound. Very competitive, hates to lose, and this is definitely the guy you want on the mound every 5 days for you.
And he's going to have to be at his best because he's going to take on the guy who started the All-Star game for the American League, Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel looking for his 14th win of the year. And Eric, he's the kind of guy, when you watch him pitch, he doesn't look like he's overpowering you, but yet he racks up the strikeouts. He's quite a left-hander.
Yeah, and last year he had a breakout season. He had double-digit wins last year, and he's really rebounded with another good year this year. He was the pitcher of the month in April, the pitcher of the month in May, and he started the All-Star game this year for the American League. So he's having a tremendous season and leading this Houston Astros team.
And who's going to win the Cy Young in the American League this year? Could be one of these two guys. We'll talk about that during tonight's ball game. So it is a marquee matchup on the hill as it's game 2 of this series between the A's and the Astros. We'll have lineups and first pitch from the Coliseum in just a moment.
is brought to you by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
It is Italian Heritage Night at the ballpark as we get set for Game 2 of this 4-game series between the first-place Houston Astros and the Oakland Athletics. So it is a beautiful night for baseball. Let's check out the weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. Temperature 67 degrees and under mostly clear skies. Last night it actually rained just a little bit during the game, which, well, we don't say that very much lately, but there was a little bit of rain, but nothing to cause problems during the game. It was an extra inning victory for the Houston Astros. So the A's, behind their ace Sonny Gray, will try to even up this series at a game apiece, see if they can do it. Sonny Gray and the Athletics take the hill, dressed in the all-white home uniforms tonight. So as Sonny Gray starts his warm-up tosses, let's look at the Astros lineup tonight. It starts with the all-star Jose Altuve, then Carlos Gomez, Carlos Correa, Jed Lowry, Colby Rasmus, Evan Gattis, Preston Tucker, the young rookie, is in the lineup tonight. Luis Valbuena and Jason Castro round out the Astros starting lineup.
We got the Oakland A's ace, Sonny Gray, age 25, making his 22nd start of the season, has a record of 11-4 with a 2.12 ERA. That ERA is the second best in the American League, just ahead of the opposing pitcher tonight, Dallas Keuchel. Sonny will be making his 5th start versus these Astros. He's gone 2-2 with a 2.67 ERA.
First base for Houston, number 48, Rich Tower. And third base, number 10.
So defensively behind Sonny, Coco Crisp in left, Billy Burns in center, Sam Fold is in right, and then on the infield it's Valencia, Simeon, Laurie, and Hanna. So a little different look on the infield with Josh Fegley doing the catching tonight. So Stephen Vogt gets the night off. And Danny Valencia gets his 2nd start at 3rd base. And Brett Laurie sliding over to 2nd base, and we may see this the final 7 weeks of this baseball season, with Valencia maybe getting a chance to play against left-handed pitching. Maybe slide Laurie over to 2nd base. So Altuve walks up to the box, and we're set for baseball. So Altuve, who, no matter whether he's hot, cold, whatever he's doing, he's going to hit the ball well against the Athletics. And last night was a perfect example. He was 2 for 14 in his last series. That was against the Texas Rangers. And he comes here, and last night he went 3 for 5. So he's just a very good player who always seems to be tough on the Athletics.
A very aggressive hitter, and in the scouting world, he has the ability to put the barrel on the ball at any pitch.
And he doesn't wait around. This one's popped up. Laurie waits, makes the catch, and that's the first out of the ball game. Quick look at the umpires for tonight. Corey Blazer is calling balls and strikes. Jeff Nelson's your crew chief. He's at first. Pat Holberg is at second. Chris Guccione down at third. Like we always occasionally like to remind our viewers that generally the umpires move in that would be the clockwise direction, right? If you're at home plate, the next night you will slide over and
go into third,
and then third to second, second to first, and from first back behind the plate.
I think the hitters tonight are hoping for maybe a little bit more consistent zone than they had last night. There was a lot of players complaining from both sides, but I think a lot of those pitches, Gooch had the right call on most of them.
0-1 to Carlos Gomez. Gomez was 1 for 4 last night. Scored a run.
Made the play of the game too with that catch he ran down in center field. That changed the whole A whole inning for the A's right there.
Yeah, he went, like I said, just 1 for 4 with a run scored, but he seemed to be in the middle of all the action, and that's kind of the way it is with Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, and he started early last night, going 1st to 3rd.
Yep. 2-1 pitch is hit high in the air to shallow left. Coco hustling in. He's got it. 2 outs. This is the first inning for Carlos Gomez, and he really was a big part of the Astros getting an early run. Bunt single. And then this was the play, and just a simple base hit to left field. And he ends up scoring on a sacrifice fly. So give that run to Carlos Gomez. Again, that was in the first inning last night. So 2 away for Carlos Correa. First pitch is a fastball for a strike to the young shortstop. 291 with 14 home runs, 36 RBIs. Good pitch right on the outside corner. So 0-2. Sonny trying to have a nice quick first inning. Astros wearing kind of that burnt orange top, which is not a bad look. Rookie ranks in the American League for Carlos Correa. Leads in RBIs, leads in slugging percentage, 2nd in home runs.
He's only played in 51 ball games. That's pretty good.
Shoots that one toward right center. Fold hustling in. He'll get their side retired. So a 10-pitch inning for Sonny Gray as the Astros go quietly in the top of the first. Burns, Crisp, Laurie, Valencia, Butler, Fegley, Simeon, Canna, and Full.
The 27-year-old left-hander, Dallas Keuchel. This is Dallas's 4th year with the Astros. He's really had a good year. He's 1st in wins, 2nd in innings pitched, 3rd in ERA, tied for 2nd in complete games. He was the pitcher of the month for April and May, and he also started this year's All-Star game, so he really has had a career year.
Nice resume just for this year alone. So he has become one of the best pitchers in the American League and a Cy Young candidate, as is Sonny Gray, and that's why we have been looking forward to this matchup. Gray and Keuchel. Keuchel looking for his 14th win of the year. First pitch is off the glove of Keuchel. Altuve can't make the play, and one pitch, Billy Burns has an infield hit. Keuchel won the Gold Glove last year, so he's going to feel like he should catch just about anything, and I bet he thinks he should have caught that one.
Yeah, Billy being very aggressive. I saw a stat with him. When he puts the first pitch in play, just puts it in play, he's hitting about 500. So he's been very aggressive. It's worked for him so far, and he's really had a good year for the A's.
So another infield hit, 28th infield hit. That's the most in the American League for Burns. And it is also his 100th hit total this year. Good move by Keuchel. Burns with 22 steals on the year. He's been thrown out 5 times. Castro, pretty good arm. And Coco swings and misses. Crisp last night was 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts. We thought maybe he won the game with a walk-off home run. Bottom of the 9th inning, he hit a long drive to right field. Was caught near the wall.
Put a real good swing on that ball, too. I thought it was gone, too, as soon as he hit it.
That was after the A's had tied it in the bottom of the 9th. The Astros won it in the 10th.
You know, you think of Dallas Keuchel as a finesse pitcher, and he's going over his stats, and he's averaging 8 strikeouts per 9. It's actually higher than what Sonny Gray's doing. So, you know, he can get the ground ball. He pitches down in the zone, but he also can strike you out. He's just really put it together this year.
I think that was the point that I was trying to make to you in the open of our show, is that he's not going to wow you with, you know, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and strike you out.
Yeah.
But he's 7th in the league in strikeout.
Yes. He's a pitcher. He knows how to pitch. He's smart. He's athletic. He can fill his position.
And that's where he pitches, right down there.
Yeah.
So he strikes guys out, and he gets a lot of ground balls.
Yeah, and he has good stuff, and he has the location to go with it. He can throw different pitches for strikes. But that's where he lives. He lives down below the knees. A's are going to have to make him get it up a little.
2-2 pitch. Get inside. So if Keuchel's going to be good no matter what, if he gets an umpire that gives him the low strike, well, then he's going to be really tough.
Really good. Yeah, it's going to be a long night for the A's. So that was a good take by Coco right there.
I mean, it takes a couple innings to see what the umpire's doing, but you saw the low strike call to Coco a couple pitches ago. Burns runs, and the ball's hit toward right field. Rasmus is there, and Burns hustles back. The throw goes to first, and he just does get back. So 1 away here in the first inning.
Batting in the 3rd position, second baseman, number 15, Brett Lawrie.
So that'll bring up Brett Lawrie playing second base for the A's tonight. It's the 3rd time this year that Lawrie has started a game at second base. It's not completely new to him. He started at second base 32 times with the Blue Jays, so they did try him over there.
Yeah, and I saw his last game at second base. I think it was a couple days ago, and he turned some double plays and looked really comfortable over there.
First pitch, strike on the outside corner.
So key to be versatile in this game. I mean, certain things come up, injuries, and the more positions you can play, the better chance you have of being on the field. And Bob Malvin really taking advantage of that versatility by Brett. He really unloaded on that fastball last night. You know, I've seen some pretty good balls hit here, but at nighttime to go up there in the windows, and it's pretty impressive. Dead center.
Off speed, like a changeup, stayed outside. So 1-1 the count with Valencia waiting in the on-deck circle. Scott Feldman, a no decision last night. Pitch pitch outside again, 2-1. True story brought to you by McDonald's. It was Brett Lawrie's home run off Scott Feldman, measured at 452 feet. Last player hit home run that long at the HOU at OAK in an A's uniform was Brandon Moss, September 16th of last year. There it was. Hit it off the Texas Rangers. That was 453 feet.
Two pretty good pokes right there.
Well, what we're seeing early, Eric, is a pretty decent pitcher strike zone by Corey Blazer. Something to keep an eye on as this game moves forward. So full count with Burns at first. With a full count to Coco Crisp, Burns took off, so you would think you'd probably do it again.
Yeah, more than likely that's going to happen. And you know, I think what the A's want to do tonight is not make early outs, make him go deep into counts like the A's hitters have been doing already, and it seems like they have a pretty good game plan going against them.
Burns not running, and the ball's tapped to Keuchel, who spins, fires to second out there. Altuve back to first. Not in time, but pretty good turn by Jose Altuve. So Laurie reaches on the fielder's choice, 2 outs. Quick look at the defense for the Astros. Tucker, Gomez, Rasmussen in the outfield. Lowry, Correa, Altuve, Valbuena on the infield, and Castro is your catcher.
Little surprised not to see Billy going right there. You got a ground ball pitcher, and you know, obviously he does have the good strikeouts, but I think I would have liked to have seen Billy in motion right there.
So here's Valencia, second start with the Athletics. He's claimed off waivers from the Blue Jays on Monday, and then was in the A's lineup on Wednesday, went 1 for 5. They think Valencia is going to pull it. Missed inside. Keuchel thought it was a strike.
And they brought him here because he can hit lefties. He's got a real good resume against left-handers. And the one stat that's kind of funny, though, is he's got 7 homers this year. 5 of them are versus righties. So a little bit confusing, but this guy can definitely hit a lefty.
Valencia last year started with the Kansas City Royals and then was traded to the Blue Jays in July. Then with the Blue Jays this year, and now up to the Athletics. Pitch, and Valencia had the green light, and he fouled it at home plate.
Yeah, I think Danny just needs somebody to give him an opportunity to get 500 at bats, and you know, he's been around the league for a little while as a platoon player, but he's got a good tool set. He can play some third and hit for power, hit for average.
And he draws the walk. 2 on, 2 out for Butler. So Butler steps in. He was 0 for 4 last night with a walk. On the year, 242. 9 home runs, 47 RBIs. And there's that low strike.
That's such a borderline pitch. That's a tough one, man. I mean, if he keeps getting that pitch, it's going to be a long night. And he's going to keep going there, too, so give him credit. He's going to be consistent with it. Yeah, and that's just, it's a little bit too low for my liking.
Breaking ball. I've not seen a lot of those in the early going, but snaps one off there, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, and the difference between hitting 1-0 and 0-1 is it's about a huge difference as you can get. So first pitch is huge in the at-bat.
Altuve playing near second base. Rasmus shallow and right. The ball's hit hard. Nice play by Lowry. Straightens up, flips it across side. Retired. So Keiko gets out of it. A's strand a pair, and we're moving to the second. No score. A's and the Astros. Older sister Abby Burns, and she is part of the U.S. Paralympic swim team, and she threw out the first pitch. It was a very nice moment. Billy Burns says she's the best athlete in the family, so
I mean, she's pretty good.
Something. I was going to tell you, because Billy Burns moves around pretty well, but
good throw she made too to home plate.
She did. So it was great to see Abby Burns throwing out the first pitch, and then she can sit back and watch her younger brother Billy patrol center field for the Athletics.
I do think she should have signed the ball for Billy, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Not the other way around.
She's like, that's my little brother. I get his autograph many times. So second inning. Lowry, Rasmus, and Gaddis. And Sonny Gray, who had a 3-up, 3-down first inning.
You know, I thought you brought up an interesting point about batting fourth in this lineup behind Correa, and you know who's best fitted to do that. And you know, we talked about Gaddis, but you know, last night that at bat that Jed had, I mean, he doesn't have numbers that are going to jump out at you, but when you watch him play every day and you see his consistent at bats, I think he's the right guy to hit behind Correa.
Well, it may not make sense statistically because he's not a big power hitter, but our conversation was just before the game was geared toward, well, maybe the Astros don't have that ideal cleanup hitter. So Lowry's the guy who really gives you good at bat, especially with guys on base. We saw it last night, but we saw it with his time with the Athletics as well. Swing and a miss there by Sonny Gray. He did this last night, just a good at bat.
Yeah, earlier in the count, he was kind of pulling off a few of those pitches, and he got it back to full count. Mojica went with the sinker away, stayed on it, and it was a big hit in that game last night.
Don't want to wait for Colby Rasmus. I guess your best cleanup hitter is a guy who hits the ball at the ballpark, but also gives you a real good at bat, can grind out an at bat,
and those are the at bats that are going to matter down the stretch.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they get into the postseason, so
maybe more so than hitting home runs.
Yeah, well, homers get you there.
Yeah.
You know, through a course of a season, but you know, once you get in those one-game playoffs and the short series, you need guys to give you really good at bats because you're facing Sonny Grays. You know, you're not facing 4 and 5s.
1-1 to Colby Rasmus. Good pitch there. And now 1-2. Rasmus 13 home runs, 38 RBIs.
I love watching Sonny pitch. This is my first time seeing him pitch. I mean, I've seen him on TV a few times, but man, he's just a laser eye focused and all about business.
With nasty stuff. Ahead of Rasmus 1-2. Rasmus was 1 for 5 last night. And he chased a breaking ball, missed it to the backstop. Fegley got a good bounce off the backstop and rolled about halfway back to him. And he was able to pick it up and throw to first.
Yeah, it looked like Sonny went to the slider here.
Batting in the 6th position.
Good pitch right through the wickets. 11, fortunate for the A's, it bounced right back to Josh, and he was able to make a good throw to first. That slider's been a real good pitch for him this year. I was looking at his numbers. I thought his curveball was the one pitch that he goes to, but it's that slider. And hitters are missing 43% of the time when he throws that pitch, which is double the league average.
Lefty's hitting just 184 off Sonny Gray. Yeah, he's using the slider more this year. Less curve, more slider this year. Seems to be working.
Yeah, I remember watching him in that playoff game against the Tigers, and it was mostly fastball curveball when I saw him. Electric stuff though.
Gaddis, left center, hit pretty well, but in the ballpark. Burns has it. 6 up, 6 down for Sonny Gray through the first 2 innings. Bottom of the second coming up. It'll be Fegley, Simeon, and Canna to hit. It's my favorite hat, I think, all year. The A's elephant beanie baby hat. I just gave it my own title as well. That's a good one. Base hit right field. Forget that shift. Fegley goes to right field. And he's got a leadoff hit. 3 infielders to the left side. It didn't matter.
Yeah, I think that's the approach the A's are going to have. And then I'm sure they're seeing it on the video where he's wanting to pitch and down away in the zone. It's just a good approach by Josh staying on it.
Expo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. First pitch to Simeon is a ball.
And this is what Keuchel does so good. I mean, you're going to have some traffic on the bases with him, but he never panics. He's under control. He knows he can get that ground ball double play.
Altuve dives. He can't get it. Fegley will make the turn, but stop there. It's a game of inches. If Keiko fields it, it may be a double play, but it got under his glove, and the A's have 2 on and nobody out.
Batting in the 8th position, first baseman.
It's another, I don't know, that looked like a changeup. Marcus able to stay on it, sneak it by Altuve, the diving Altuve. No chance for Josh to get to third there. Carlos charging hard, got a good arm. Just out of the reach of Altuve.
So here's Canna. An opportunity again for the A's. They stranded a pair in the first inning. Pick off, and Fegley just got back. And Altuve may want him to look at it. He pointed toward the dugout.
That looked close. It really did. See if he got him on high.
Couldn't quite tell where he tagged Fegley.
Oh, he missed him. Yeah, he got back. They had him, though.
Foot in, and then the tag. So, a good call. Strike to Canna, 0-1. Canna hitting in the A spot. Playing at the left of second base, so he's very close to the bag at second.
Like Sonny, Keuchel will go to that slider for a strikeout pitch. Usually starts in the zone and ends up out of the zone. Down and in to the back foot of the right-handed hitters.
Long look, and a pitch fouled off the foot.
And I think that's what he was trying to do. I think he got too much of the plate right there.
Road numbers. Last 6 road starts, 1-5, 4.87 ERA. He only has 5 losses on the year total.
He's beatable on the road, but what's crazy about that is Houston's a hitter's ballpark too, and he dominates at home.
He's unbelievable at home.
That's a little head scratcher right there.
He is 10-0 with a 1.26 ERA at home.
Wow.
Oh, 2 setting up inside, and it runs inside.
You know, Houston as a team in whole too, they've really struggled on the road, and you know, maybe that has a little bit to do with it, but they're going to have, definitely in the second half, they're going to have to prove they can win on the road if they want to close out this division and win it.
The A's are making Keuchel work in each of the first 2 innings. Inside, and now it's 2-2.
And that was that slider at the back foot. Good take by Mark right there, recognizing it early.
Seasons with the Athletics for A.J. Hinch. He's been here before. Full count to Canna. On deck is Sam Fold, left-handed hitter. Billy Burns in the hole.
He will. Dallas will go deep in counts. He'll get men on base. The A's just need to come up with a clutch hit right here, put some early runs on the board, let Sonny relax.
Three and two. Runner stay, bounced off the glove of Keuchel, and Altuve is going to flip to third. Nothing going on there, and Keuchel can't believe it. That's another ball. If he catches, it could be a double play.
Taylor-made double play right there. And you know, we talked about he was the Gold Glove winner last year, and you know, he was off to a pretty good start this year, but for some reason he's not able to come up with these fieldable balls for him. Man, you love this as a hitter. Please, please, get through.
So bases loaded, nobody out for Sam Full. So the A's had 3 base runners in the first inning, 3 base runners here in the second inning. Full inning 206. And a homer and 16 RBIs. First pitch right in there, first drive. Billy Burns will be next. Blocked nicely by Castro. He does a good job at blocking balls.
Yeah, both him and Conger have done a really good job, and Conger's, he's known for his pitch framing, but they've also hit the ball out of the park too, so it's a pretty good duo going right now for the Astros.
Strike down around the knees on the outside corner. Here's Hank Conger with the Angels for a while, and now with the Astros. Michael kicks and deals, and he gets Sam Full swinging. So a little bit of a harder slider, and Full chased it.
Yeah, Keuchel did go to that slider. Started look good, run into the hand, and ends up down and away. And those are the at-bats the A's are just going to have to get better at moving forward here. I mean, put the ball in play. Sammy's got good speed. You know to look for the ball down because that's where he likes to pitch.
So now Burns steps in, infield hit in the first. And there's a shot toward right field. Rasmus came in. Now he's got to go back, reaches up, makes the catch. Run will come in. Simeon moves up to third as Begley scores. Sacrifice fly for Burns. And the A's have a 1-0 lead here in the second inning.
Yeah, Billy being aggressive again. Keuchel went after Sam with a first pitch fastball. Billy's been aggressive the whole year. Stays on it. Hits it deep enough to score the run.
So second sacrifice fly of the year for Burns, and he gets his 22nd RBI. So runners at the corners, 2 outs now for Coco Crisp. First earned run allowed this year against the Athletics. This is his 3rd start against the A's. He went 9 innings here on the 24th of April. Got a no decision. Gave up just 2 hits. It was one of those wild games in extra innings that the Astros won. Then he went 7 innings, gave up 1 unearned run on the 20th of May, and that was in Houston. So 1-1 to Coco Crisp, who would have fly ball to right field his first at bat. Changeup and a good one, 80 miles an hour. When you see the miles per hour come up 78, 79, 80, it's probably the changeup.
Yeah, and it was a very good one. Good arm action, good action down in the zone. Looks like a fastball. Coco just out in front a little bit.
Coco behind in the count. Threw it again, and this time Coco laid off.
You know, I didn't like to move a lot in the box, you know, when you're facing a pitcher, and I like to kind of get in the back and get as deep as I can. But when you got a pitcher who you know where he's going down and away, I think you get on top of the plate and you take away that pitch that he wants to have success with. And if he doesn't get that pitch and they start doing damage with it, he's not going to know where to go.
Coco did not go. Wow, the Astros can't believe it. They all took about 3 steps toward the dugout, and Keuchel is in disbelief that Jeff Nelson did not call this a strike. I think that it was a strike.
Yeah, that barrel did cross the plane right there, and that's what you're looking for. But it's, I mean, we could look at it slow motion. Obviously, AJ not happy, but that's a tough call. They're not easy.
Keuchel's thinking I should be in the dugout with a strikeout. 3-2. Canna takes off and pitches outside, and Coco ends up walking. So the inning continues.
Now batting, second
walk
baseman,
of the night for
15, Brett Laurie.
So a chance to do real damage. 21 pitches in each inning so far. Keuchel's a guy that can throw plenty of pitches, but he's throwing too many early.
That's a lot. That's too many, yeah.
Great numbers with the bases loaded for Brett Laurie. 10 for 20 with 3 home runs. Swing and a miss right to that changeup.
And it was that changeup. It was up in the zone, and as a hitter, you're thinking, no way he's going to throw a changeup up there. Pulls the string on him, and Brett just misses it.
Stayed outside. Good take by Laurie. Simeon at third, Canna at second, Crisp at first. Field straight away for Laurie. There's a strike. 2-2. Keeping the ball away, and you wonder if he would try one time to come in. I don't know.
Well, if he does, it's going to be with that slider at the back foot of the righties. And it ends for show. He definitely wants to get you down and away.
Bounce to Keuchel, who grabs it, and he did stay away, and he gets the out. A's get a run on the sacrifice fly by Burns, so we're through 2 at the Coliseum. It's the A's 1 and the Astros nothing.
Cleats t-shirt giveaway presented by Cache Creek Casino Resort, one of the Oakland franchise's most recognizable and iconic trademarks. The white cleats were the brainchild of Charlie Finley and have been a staple for more than 4 decades. Get your tickets for this popular giveaway Now at athletics.com or by calling 877-493-BALL.
So no score as we head to the third inning. That's Dave Stagnaro, one of our many fine cameramen that work here at the Coliseum and across the bay at AT&T Park. Stags is taking the night off with the family at the ballpark. Nothing wrong with that. Looks like he's got pretty good seats as well. Burns backs up in center field. And Burns grabs it. So Preston Tucker is retired. 7 in a row retired by Sonny Gray to start the ball game.
Batting in the 8th position.
And that'll bring up Luis Valbuena.
Number 18, Luis Valbuena.
Valbuena with 20 home runs this year, but just a .209 batting average. He's got 11 doubles. It's a pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Fastball in, and the time Valbuena decided he needed to swing at it and fouls it back. Sonny's been great. Shutdown inning opportunities this year. Got one here.
When you're good, all those numbers are going to look good, though. When you're in a hot streak, the numbers look good. He's on tonight, though. He's really dotting that fastball.
So Valbuena's going to walk this one off. See where it got him. At the shin guard a little bit.
It worked. Usually it misses that.
Just on the side. Pop up near the A's dugout and off the top of the dugout. Big bounce and a nice play. So the count remains 0-2 to Valbuena.
The hitters will tell you too what type of stuff the pitcher has, and I don't think any of the Astros have had a good look at Sonny yet.
Dropped into right field for a base hit. That one hung up there a little bit, so Sonny will not be happy with that one.
Yeah, that was my fault, Sonny. I jinxed it.
Yep, you did.
I take the blame on that one.
You're in trouble.
It did stay up, though. It looked like a slider and just kind of hung. And
number 15, Jason.
Middle in, Valbuena looking in. Kind of gets jammed a little bit.
So first hit for the Astros. And that'll bring up the catcher, Jason Castro. 0 for 4 last night. And he's in an 0 for 13 stretch. Hits this one high and foul down the left field line. Another nice play. Fans have brought out the Eric Chavez gold gloves tonight. Measures it. Little snatch catch right there.
He had it the whole way.
Good sharp breaking ball, and Castro just barely got a piece of it. So the count remains 0-2. Jose Altuve will be next. Down year for Castro, just 217 is the average. Swing and a miss. He threw the fastball by him. 93 miles an hour. So 3 strikeouts for Gray.
You know, that 93 looks like 96, 97, and
Now batting,
you know, you could be facing guys that throw 100 and it seems like they're throwing 90, and I don't really know what the explanation for that is, but the ball definitely pops out of his hand, and Sonny's just got electric stuff.
So top of the order in Altuve. Altuve hits it hard under the glove of Laurie into right field for a hit.
I wonder if he sees the least amount of pitches per at bat.
Here, Billy Burns.
That's true. Yeah, he gets a fastball away, very aggressive. Just able to slide it by Brett.
Number 30, Carlos Gomez.
So hit number 4 in this series. See, Laurie maybe dove a little late. It was past him, but it was also a hard hit ball. So 2 on 2 out for Carlos Gomez.
This is where Sonny really bears down too as a pitcher, as most good pitchers do. And then get on base, he gets nastier, if that's possible.
And the fastball in on Gomez, who skies one to left center. And Coco right in front of Burns grabs inside, retired. Couple of runners stranded for the Astros. We go to bottom of the third. A's 1, Astros nothing. Of the month, May Award winner, American League Pitcher of the Month. So he got off to a good start. Starting pitcher in the All-Star game. Reached at least 6 innings in 33 straight starts. That's pretty special. And he is tied for the league lead in wins. Up near the top in ERA and opponent's average. So it's just been a terrific season. And as we mentioned earlier, he and Sonny Gray both are Cy Young candidates in the American League.
Yeah, matter of fact, the top 3 ERA guys are all in this ballpark, and Kazmir number 1, Sonny number 2, and Keuchel number 3.
That's exactly right. But it is an interesting discussion now, this American League Cy Young, with really a third of the season still to play. But I don't know. I checked out the pitching numbers in the American League, seeing if I was missing anybody. But at least right now, it seems to be a bit of a 4-man race.
Yeah.
And for discussion purposes, let our viewers think about it. If there's anybody else that would be included, is there a reliever out there having a terrific season?
I think the numbers that these guys are putting up, definitely, I think the Cy Young is going to come out of this group. But David's he's going to have a big second half for Toronto, and he's going to be pitching in some meaningful ball games. So we'll see what happens there. But I think Sonny and Dallas are definitely the two leading horses right now.
I think they may be. That one's hit well, left center field. Valencia put a charge into it, and that baby's gone. Valencia homers, and it's 2-0. The A's lead. Eighth home run of the year for Valencia. Good look at the power.
I was watching Danny's BP, and he can put him in the seats with the best of them. That was just a good swing right there. We talked about how he hits the lefties really well. He's having a really good year.
First pitch to Butler on the outside corner for a strike. Butler grounded out to third to end the first inning. So 2-0 A's lead. This one is shallow right, where Rasmus comes hustling in.
Yeah, Dallas tries to go in, and he leaves it over the middle of the plate. Danny ready for it, head down. Good follow through. It's a good looking swing. Maybe the A's found something right here. It'd be a nice little gem. Like I said earlier, it's just sometimes it takes somebody just to give you the 300, 400, 500 at bats and see what he can do.
Valencia starting at third base tonight. Fegley singled and scored in the second inning. It's that one toward Altuve. Keuchel may have got a piece of it. The throw is wide, and Fegley's safe. So it looked like the ball changed directions, and Keuchel got a piece of it somehow. And really a play that Altuve, he had to throw on the run, but he was not that far from his target. So it's going to be an error.
I'd like to see that changed. You know, the ball was misdirected. He had a range left for it. I know he's out of position with the shift, but it's not an easy play.
So the A's have a one-out base runner, and here's Simeon. He had a single in the second inning. So he's got his average up over 250 at 251. There's the low strike. Canna in the on-deck circle. Correa in the hole, out at second, and the turn nicely done by Altuve, and that's a double play. So Danny Valencia with a solo shot for the A's. So as we head to the fourth inning, it's the Athletics with a 2-0 lead over the Astros. Cy Young candidates in the American League. These are the 4 that we think are the 4 legitimate candidates: Hernandez, Price, Keuchel, and Gray. Feel free to discuss or disagree, but
we're not used to seeing Hernandez's ERA that high. And he's really dropped in velocity, but he could still pitch.
And still has 13 wins, tied with Keuchel and Colin McHugh, Keuchel's teammate. So 3 guys with 13 wins. Colby Lewis has 12, Burley has 12, and then a group at 11. One of those is Sonny Gray. So no front runner, I don't believe. It's pretty close. Felix Hernandez with those 13 wins. That ERA, that was 3.13, is 7th in the American League. So Hernandez 7th in ERA, 8th in strikeouts, and tied for 1st in wins. You saw David Price's name on there. He's got 10 wins. But Price has the 4th best ERA. He's 3rd in innings pitched and 4th in strikeouts. So even though only 10 wins, the other numbers are very, very good.
Yeah, and you're going to see those win totals go up because that offense in Toronto is going to put up some runs for him. So
that's true.
I mean, he's not going to even have to be dominant. He's just going to have to be good.
And Sonny Gray, 2nd in ERA, 5th in innings pitched, 10th in strikeouts. Opponents average against, 1st for Sonny Gray. The league's hitting 200 against him. So again, you can sift through these kind of the basic statistics for pitchers: wins, ERA, innings pitched, strikeouts. Laurie and Fold. It'll be Fold hustling into foul territory for the first out. Correa's retired. So if nothing else, it's a good discussion. There's really not a reliever having a great year. I shouldn't say there. Glenn Perkins from the Twins having a very good season, 29 saves, but I think for a closer to win the award, he needs to be off the charts good.
Yeah, I like seeing that award go to a starting pitcher for sure.
So somebody could emerge in the next month or so. I think Scott Kazmir, of course, who has the best ERA in the American League, 2.08, but the deal with Kazmir is he only has 6 wins. Not his fault.
Not his fault,
but
right.
Probably needs more than he needs a string of wins to get that total up near 10 or 11. So that's probably holding Kazmir back as part of the Cy Young conversation.
And the analytics team will tell you that wins don't matter, that it's a team thing. And I don't know. I disagree. You got a guy who knows how to win. You know, regardless of the situation, he has the ability to go out and shut you out, keep the team in the ball game. I think wins are a big thing.
Corey Kluber won it last year. But in the last 6 or 7 years, we have had a couple guys win Cy Youngs with not a lot of wins. Remember, Greinke won it one year with a fairly low win total. Lincecum won it 1 year. Felix Hernandez won it with 13 wins a couple years ago.
Greinke's really had a good year this year now. Wow. And now that other lefty's he's got a scoreless inning streak going too. So as a hitter, man, you see that starting rotation there. Not looking good for you.
Clayton Kershaw saw his 37 consecutive scoreless inning streak broken tonight in Pittsburgh. What did Greinke get to? 45, 47, something like that?
Big number.
43. In fact, for Kershaw tonight, the first pitch he threw in the game, bottom of the first in Pittsburgh.
Homer.
Gregory Polanco hit a home run, left-handed hitter. So he
just get it out of the way. Yeah. Just get it out of the way.
That one hit well, right field. Fold hustling back. He's near the wall. He's got enough room, and he makes the catch for the second out. Some of the big names that were traded at the deadline. Johnny Cueto, now with the Royals. Made a couple of starts. Scott Kazmir's been great. See the ERA for the Astros. Cole Hamels is pitching tonight, and David Price will pitch tomorrow. Of course, David Price going from Detroit to Toronto. And it's a good call by you. The offense in Toronto. David Price could see his win total shoot up, and he may become the favorite in that Cy Young race.
He could. There's a lot of baseball left to be played, and I think you looked at that Cole Hamels trade and kind of wondered what Texas was doing, and I think they felt like they had a good competitive team to compete this year. I think they're only 5 games out in the division.
Oh yeah, they're definitely in it.
They've surprised a lot of people. But they gave up a pretty good package to get Cole Hamels over there to Philly. Gave up some pretty good young players.
That's what we understand, talking to scouts around the ballpark, and they all gave a thumbs up on the Phillies haul for Cole Hamels.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think the Phillies are a little late to the ball game there. They should have, they should have moved some of those players and restocked up their farm system last year or the year before.
Another drive toward right center. And he's got another outfielder there. This time it's Billy Burns. So it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Sonny Gray. Bottom of the 4th coming up. 2-0. A's lead the Astros. First full year in the major leagues, becomes a 20-game winner, but he goes the distance, blanking the White Sox 1-0 right here at the Coliseum. So he won his 20th game beginning of August. How about that? That's a pretty good season.
His first year.
I don't think anybody is going to get to 20 wins by even the middle of August anymore. Those days are over. The old 4-man rotation.
I wonder if we're ever going to see 25 wins or 30 wins. I know it was.
We talk about those win totals, the guys in the American League. Altuve has it, fires across. And your leader right now with 13 in the American League. So they got a. Cole has 14 wins in the National League. That's a big difference. You have a 4-man rotation or a 5-man rotation. So Sam Fuld steps in. Fold struck out in his first at bat. Takes a pitch just a bit outside. Rangers are leading the Mariners 2-1 in the fourth inning in Seattle. As we mentioned, Cole Hamels making his second start for Texas tonight. Iwakuma pitching for Seattle. Rangers have won 4 in a row and 7 out of 8. They're 5.5 back in the AL West. They're 2.5 back of the second wild card team. So they're doing their thing, making a move. Altuve flips, Fold is out, 2 outs.
You know, I was watching Sammy the last series, and he kind of did that same thing. He took a swing, and I don't know if his knee buckled on him, and he doesn't look like he's having trouble running. Obviously, running the balls down in the outfield, but for some reason, he's having trouble stabilizing that swing all the way through, kind of buckling down and almost falling over, it looks like. Something's bothering him. I don't know if he's something wrong with his ankle where he doesn't have stability, but it looks very uncomfortable. But then you watch him run, and he runs just fine.
And he really swings hard. He's not a big guy, but he takes a big swing.
Yeah, he puts everything into it. But it just looks uncomfortable.
Burns, a little pop-up near the Astros dugout and on top of the dugout. This was Wednesday, and watch Folt, and he did it again. Yeah, you wonder if it's his knee tweaking a little bit. And that's just about the exact same thing as he did in this at bat. He's fine.
Tells Bob I'm good to go.
Yeah, but you just fell over in the batter's box.
Exactly.
0-2 to Burns, a single and a sacrifice fly for Billy. So you wonder if it's just his knee giving out momentarily?
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw him do it a few days ago. And you know, I don't know if he knows when he swings if it's going to happen every time or not, but it's not fun.
One and two, setting up inside, and that's fair inside the bag. And Burns is going to make a turn, and he'll stay there. They're going to throw behind him, and Burns is able to just get back. Good play by Rasmus in right field. He got over there quickly, and then he threw behind Burns.
Yeah, just a good piece of hit and stays on it. Sneaks it in the first base. Continues his hot hitting.
Pretty good pitch. Keuchel threw it right where catcher wanted it. Fastball in. Charging is Correa, the shortstop, throws, and they get Coco Crisp for the out, and that ends the inning. So we are through 4 at the Coliseum. The A's leading the Astros 2-0.
#1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, statcast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet.
2-0. The A's lead behind Sonny Gray. A's with a run in the second and a run in the third. The run in the third was a Valencia home run. So Gaddis, Tucker, and Valbuena, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Gaddis skies one. Burns can't find it. He's looking for it, and he does finally pick it up. And on a 1 pitch, Gaddis is retired. One away here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, as a pitcher, man, you love those first pitch outs right there. Sonny's got his good stuff today for sure. Only giving up the 2 singles.
So Tucker steps in. Left-handed hitter. Astros high on this young man. Seeing his first big league action this year. Preston Tucker, 7th round draft pick in 2012. So he really has 2 full seasons in the minor leagues, and he is in the big leagues.
Man, these guys, they just hit homers. 10 homers and not playing every day. A lot of talent, a lot of depth from these Astros.
And interesting, the Astros this year chose Preston Tucker's brother with a top 10 pick.
Oh, wow.
He was
good genes.
It was definitely a top 10 pick. And that one off of Sonny Gray. He scrambles after it, picks it up, throws, and heck of a play by Sonny Gray. Let's hope he's okay. Got to find it and then scramble after it. Well, he's smiling. That's a good sign.
Yeah, it looked like it hit the bottom of his cleats, and Keuchel's had some misplays, and kick save and a beauty right there by Gray. Very athletic, hops on it. Good strong throw. Fielding his position. That ball was hit well too. Talking about that competitive nature by Sonny. Oh, got some right in the calf.
So he's going to be okay.
He might feel that tomorrow, maybe.
Said he's okay. So that's the first ground ball out by Sonny Gray.
Number 18.
3 strikeouts. The rest are balls in the air. 10 fly ball outs. So he faces Luis Valbuena with 2 outs, nobody on here in the 5th inning. 54th pitch of the night. So the pitch count is good for Sonny Gray. Pitches by inning, all good.
Yeah, I think the pop-ups are a product of that light fastball he throws up in the zone. It's got a second gear towards it, and it looks good coming out of the hand, and kind of takes off towards the second part of the way to the plate, and hitters are just missing it and popping it up.
0-2 to Valbuena, who had a base hit in the 3rd inning. He got a base hit to right field on an 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, hanging slider. He definitely missed with that. It's not. He wanted to go at his back foot, and he just kind of hung up there.
Roll foul right to the bat boy who makes the play.
But that's exactly why, as a hitter, you got to be ready to hit. You know, it's an 0-2 count. You're thinking he's going to waste one. He's going to go up out of the zone, or he's going to bounce that slider down in the dirt. But when you're down 0-2, you got to be ready for anything.
Shift is on for Valbuena. Fastball low, 93 miles an hour.
And hitters make a living off of mistakes from the pitcher. There's not too many hitters out there that can live off of hitting the pitcher's pitch. And
curve is outside, so now full count. Was 0-2. Castro would be next.
Like that pitch that Keuchel threw to Valencia. He tried to go middle in and ran over the plate, and Danny deposited it to left field seats.
And that one is belted to right field. And that's going to lead the yard. Valbuena, a home run to get the Astros on the board, his 21st home run of the year. It's like, Aaron, he's got a pretty quick bat inside.
Yeah, he likes it middle in, definitely. Sonny comes 3-2. He's going to challenge him. Yeah, and that wasn't a terrible pitch. It caught the black at the inside, and a little skip right there. He knew as soon as he hit it, it was gone.
I think more often than not, that pitch right there, it may jam a left-handed hitter.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not doing anything with that pitch, that's for sure. I mean, he's definitely doing some damage on that middle end pitch for sure.
So the Astros a home run last night, home run tonight. They lead the American League in home runs. In fact, they lead all of Major League Baseball in home runs. Castro rolls it. Lowry has it. Side retired. The Astros are on the board. Luis Valbuena, his 21st home run of the year. Bottom of the fifth coming up. It's the A's 2 and the Astros 1. Strongest fan photo, just CSNCA Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. That is Manny Lorano from Hanford. He is hanging out with Stomper. They were both promoting Portuguese Heritage Night here at the Coliseum, which is coming up on September 22nd. So, Manny, thank you for sending in the photo. Two to 1 game, A's and the Astros. Lowry, Valencia, and Butler, so 3 powerful right-handed hitters. facing Keuchel, who has just not been real sharp. I guess we're comparing that to how we've seen him in other starts against the A's when he's always pretty darn good. And that hit Laurie, and Laurie will be aboard. So a leadoff base runner.
Yeah, and that's Keuchel's coming inside right there, and he just really doesn't look that comfortable or confident wanting to pitch the inside part of the plate to the right-hand hitters. And ooh, might have missed him. Either that or good acting.
Could have been good acting. Easy for us to say up here. So Valencia takes outside. The A's tonight have had 11 base runners against Dallas Keuchel. So he's probably not used to that. There's a base hit. Valencia just shoots one right to that wide open hole. The shift was on. Astros are not shy about the shift.
Yeah, we know Dallas likes to induce those ground balls, and the A's going right up back to the box. And normally a Gold Glove fielder won the Gold Glove last year, having some trouble just missing some balls. Fortunate for A's, they got some runners on base, able to get an early run.
Yeah, it seems like an unusual amount of balls hit back through the pitcher, and he sets up pretty nice to field his position. He's finished his delivery. Cordell Tuve could be two. There's one. There's two. So Billy Butler hits into the double play. That's the 18th time he has done that this year. So 2 outs now and a runner at third.
That sounded like Billy broke his bat on a changeup. Dallas able to get the ground ball double play right there. What he does very well.
Trying for a shutdown inning. He's been good in that category. I guess you saw Sonny Gray was good. Keuchel's good. And when your ERA is second and third best in the American League, you're probably converting on those shutdown innings more often than not. Here's Fegley, who has singled and scored and reached on an air. Valbuena, the first baseman, is playing far over to his right. Much further than the normal spot. Down the right field line. Rasmus on the move, and it is fair. Up into the seats. It's an RBI double, and the A's get that run back. It's 3-1. Just fair down the right field line.
Just a great approach by Josh again, going the other way twice. That would look like a backdoor curveball. He stayed on it. His eyes got big, hoping this thing would stay fair, and I think it just catches the inside part of the chalk here. Bounces over the fence for a ground rule double. But this is the approach you want to have against Keuchel. He doesn't like pitching in. He likes to go down and away. So try to take that pitch away from him.
So Fegley picks up his 24th RBI of the year. He's 2 for 3 tonight.
Yeah, you love Josh picking Billy up right there. He's a little frustrated, kind of out of his game right now. It's wasn't the result that Billy wanted, but Josh able to pick him up.
So it all started with the hit batter. Base hit right field. Here comes Fegley. Rasmus has a good arm. The throw to the plate. is there, and Fegley is tagged out. Tried to sneak his foot in there, could not do it, and a terrific throw by Colby Rasmus. Wow. He showed off the arm big time. Hayes get a run on the Fegley double and knocked home Laurie, so 3-1 after 5. Though from right field.
Absolute cannon. Marcus, a great job of hitting, takes it the other way. Erasmus throwing a BB to home plate, and it wasn't even close. That's definitely a player right here. 2 outs. Gallego sending him all the way. We know Josh isn't the fastest runner on the field, but you got to go ahead and take a chance right there.
I think, yeah, I think you got to send him. I mean, it was a perfect throw. In the air. His glove was right on the line. So the A's get a run on 3 hits in that bottom of the 5th. So here's the top of the 6th and the top of the order for the Astros. So good challenge inning for Sonny Gray.
They would call that a 70 arm on the scale.
And the scale goes to
20 to 80.
20 to 80. And is there any 80s out there?
So I don't think so.
80, I mean,
80s all-time Hall of Fame. Best arm there ever was.
So this is what we're talking about is a scout's grading system, basically, right?
Yep.
And it starts at 20 and it goes to 80. And
yep. And you grade every single tool: the run, hit, at bats, walks, strikeouts.
So average is 50.
Yep.
So if you're a 60, if you're 55, 60, 65,
you're an above average tool or player.
So you would grade on speed, power,
everything, like
strength.
Like we'll grade out Sonny right now. His delivery is 65, 70. Compact,
fastball,
arm action 65, fastball 65, 70, curveball 60.
Valencia comes in on the backhand, throws in time. So if you see a scout write down anything above a 60, that's pretty good then, right?
Really good.
Now batting,
really good.
So you gave Colby Rasmus a 70.
That was a 70 throw, definitely. It's a new language I had to learn this year. It wasn't easy.
Well,
he's got a good arm. What do you want me to tell you?
You got to put a number on it. It's analytics, man. You got to put a number on it.
No, it's good. It's been a different way to look at the game for sure.
Carlos Gomez takes a rip at the first pitch. No surprise there. Highest first pitch swing percentage. Carlos Gomez does it half the time. Billy Burns is third on that list.
Where's Altuve?
How can Altuve not be on there? More action for Valencia. 2-0. And that'll bring up Carlos Correa. So this would be a good inning to breeze through here. Three very good hitters in Altuve, Gomez, and now Correa.
You know, I think the way Valencia is playing right now, you almost got to give him a run of 2 or 3 weeks of letting him play every day, see if he can do it. Maybe they found something in him. He's had a good year offensively. It was a good pickup. He's hitting the ball out of the park. He's got good average on base. Brett's versatility allows them to play Valencia, and Brett slides over to second. He's done a pretty good job. He looks pretty decent over there.
So 1-0 to Carlos Correa, who has hit a couple of fly balls to right field. Danny Valencia can play a little first base if needed.
But he's got an everyday bat. He just needs somebody to give him some at-bats and consistent at-bats and say, you're the guy. See what he does with it. He may or may not be successful. I don't know, but he's having a good year.
Good swing there by Correa, and it's 1-2.
The A's need to see what they have. The next 2 months are really, really important. You don't want to cash in the season. 2 months, there's a lot of baseball to be played. You want to go out and be competitive on a daily basis. But most importantly, with the season that they've had, they need to find out what type of players they're going to go into next year with.
Simeon gets up, will throw to first, a little offline. Would have been tough to get Correa, even if Simeon had made a good throw to first. So it's a hit.
And he hits it in that hole. Marcus kind of goes over there, dives to his knees, comes up, knows he has to hurry, but even if this was a good throw, I don't think he would have had a chance for the speedy Correa.
So that is the 4th hit for the Astros tonight, and that'll bring up Jed Lowry. So as Lowry steps in, the A's go into the shift. See Simeon now playing right behind second base. Swing by Lowry, fouls it back. Pitch count for Sonny Gray, 73. Plenty of strikes thrown. He has not walked anybody. He's got 3 strikeouts. Slapped foul as Lowry waited on a breaking ball. Orioles are leading the Angels 4-3 in the 6th inning. Gausman for Baltimore, Heaney for the Angels. Angels struggling some. They've lost 7 out of 9. They're hanging on to that first wild card right now by a half a game, and they trail these Astros by 2.5. Correa just got back.
Yeah, we talked earlier today about how important that win was for the Astros. Look, they went to Texas and got swept. They're not playing good on the road. They come here. They easily could have lost 4 games in a row. Same thing as, you know, the Angels are going through a little slump.
Yep.
Well, that's a big win. It's a win that can propel you a little bit on this road trip that they have. Ooh. Just under the tag.
Pitch rolls foul, and it's such a logjam in that wild card race. Coming into today, 7 teams were within 4.5 games of each other. Angels, Jays, Orioles, Rangers, Twins, Rays, Tigers, all within 4.5 games. So there's a lot to be decided there.
I love the new format. I absolutely love it.
Swing and a miss. He got him down and in. Begley picks it up. And that's a strikeout. And that's strikeout number 4 for Sonny Gray. Bottom of the 6th coming up. It's the A's 3 and the Astros 1.
We got Dallas Keuchel, Sonny Gray, 2 of the best in the American League. Got Keuchel with a nasty slider. Sonny with a fastball into Jed. And one of the mistakes that Keuchel's made tonight, a middle end fastball that Danny Valencia deposited, and Valbuena inside fastball, 3-2 pitch. Sonny challenged him, and you got to tip your hat to Valbuena. Hit a good pitch. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT, mobilizing your world.
So 3-1, bottom of the 6th inning. Sonny Gray out pitching Dallas Keuchel tonight. Keuchel has not been sharp. A's have had base runners all over the place. They've scored 3 off them, and they've stranded 7 in the first 5 innings. That one driven to center. Coming in is Carlos Gomez. He's got it. So Canna is retired for out number 1. Keuchel has just 1 strikeout tonight. And this is a guy who is 7th in the league in strikeouts. So don't know if that necessarily means anything, but
yeah, I think for the most part the A's have just had a really good approach with him. And you know, he's got a couple of the few hitters to get out in front and roll over. They've obviously hit a bunch of balls up the middle that the bounce went the A's way. But then you've seen Fagley going the other way. You've seen Valencia homer to left, single to right. So the A's have had a pretty good approach with Keuchel tonight.
And I would think you have to have a good approach against him. If you don't, he'll carve you up.
Yeah, which he did his last outing here when he faced the A's. He was pretty dominant.
Josh Fields.
You know, when you face these ace guys, I always want to take away one pitch, something that he likes to do. You know, you don't want a pitcher to have his fastball, his curveball, his changeup all working in the same night. So you eliminate 1 or 2 pitches and you key in on one pitch, or you key in on one location. And you know Keuchel likes to be down in the zone. He likes to pitch away. And that's why the A's have been able to find some holes tonight.
And that one missed a little bit low. 2-2 the count.
That was a good pitch. That was a pitcher's pitch right there. It looked like it caught the knees. A little low, but he's had that call tonight.
Sam Fuld strikes out swinging. So second strikeout for Keuchel, and both have been Sam Fuld.
Yeah, and both times it's been with that slider, and it's a tough one. He kind of throws it right at you.
Number 1, Billy.
Got some funny spin to it, and Sammy can't lay off of it.
You know what you're talking about is very interesting. Guys that I've talked to that played in the big leagues, and it's always very interesting to talk to them about their hitting, and they said things similar to what you're saying, is that you have to pick a side of the plate or a pitch you're looking for. And I said, well, can you do both? And they said, probably not. It's very hard to do.
It is hard
because it's two decisions you got to make at a guy who's throwing,
right,
90 miles an hour. Right.
Yeah, you do. You key on one thing, and if you're facing a Clayton Kershaw with two really good pitches, he's got that curveball, he's got the slider too, and he's got the fastball. Just take one of them away. Yeah. Sit back and hit the curveball. Look middle in fastball. But just try to eliminate one thing he's going to have success facing you that night.
Because I would think it's just, I mean, if you start throwing, well, he's got 3 pitches,
if you try to hit them all, you got no chance.
Well, now there's too much going on.
Way too much. Way too much. If you go out there with no plan, you're not going to be successful.
Hooked foul. All right, so you know with Keuchel, you see a lot of fastballs, good slider, good change, a little bit of a cutter. So pick one that
just looking at that pie chart, hit the fastball.
Yeah.
If you're a righty, look down and away. If you're a lefty, he wants to finish you off with that slider. Knowing what the pitcher wants to do that night is, for me as a hitter, was a huge deal.
This one hit toward Rasmussen right. Drifting toward the line. He's got it, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Dallas Keuchel. In fact, that's his first 3-up, 3-down inning tonight. 3-1 A's lead.
And softball season. Fields at Hayward High School, and San Lorenzo Little League Complex were refurbished as part of the Energize Your Field program presented by PG&E. To nominate your field to be refurbished, go to athletics.com/Energize Your Field. Energize Your Field with the A's, the Good Tidings Foundation, and PG&E.
Top of the 7th inning. And Sonny Gray will face Rasmus, Gaddis, and Tucker. Sonny Gray with 4 strikeouts. He's allowed 4 hits. He's thrown 76 pitches. So his pitch count's pretty good.
Yeah, let's get him a CG tonight. Complete game.
Rasmus has struck out and hit a fly ball to center field. And it's 0-2.
I mean, he's making it look easy. It doesn't even look like he broke a sweat tonight. He's got everything working. The fastball, he's got location, curveball, slider.
Fegley sets up outside. Ball's tapped right at the plate. Well, there's been really no trouble innings for Sonny Gray. I take that back. Third inning. First and second, 2 outs. He got out of it. Solo home run in the 5th. 2-out single in the 6th. Though.
Yeah, and you can live with those solo home runs. Like I said, it was a good pitch to Valbuena, middle in, 3-2 on the black. He just opened up and got the barrel to it. 21 times he's done it this year, so it's nothing new for him.
And now 2-2 to Colby Rasmus. Rangers leading the Mariners 3-2, top of the 6th inning. Cole Hamels and Sashi Iwakuma both still pitching in that game.
I was in the stands watching Cole Hamels pitch that no-hitter in Chicago. It was pretty impressive. I mean, the first pitch of the game was 97 miles an hour. And one of his last pitches was 97 miles an hour. So, and that's not usually the range that he pitches in either. He's 92, 93. But I think what a good way to leave Philadelphia and the career that he's had there. And
that's right. That was his last start.
Yep.
And the Rangers will be excited. They'll be able to team up Yu Darvish and Cole Hamels, both signed for 3 more years after this year.
Yeah, and I think mostly everybody was like, okay, well, they're planning for next year, but really they're in the race this year. I mean,
you see what they did today? They picked up Mike Napoli.
Napoli, yeah, good pickup
from the Red Sox. So they've been looking for kind of an extra right-handed bat, and that one is ripped toward right. Fold is there. Rasmus can't believe it. He in a bullet. So that's 1 out.
And I know Mike really swings the bat really well in Texas. A lot of hitters swing the bat good in Texas, but he really does put up good numbers when he goes in there as a visitor. So that's a good pickup, man. This West is going to be a little bit tighter. They've got back into the race, and
well, it's a quality power bat that, I mean, you may not play every day, but you'll get him some starts each week, and Napoli could help the Rangers. So yeah, it's an interesting move.
You're kind of wondering where you got Prince DH and
maybe play him against lefties with Moreland sitting. But if nothing else, it's an option.
Yeah, it is.
A good option.
It is.
Veteran hitter.
It's a good problem to have. But Moreland's had a good year, and he's a good player. He's a good first baseman.
1-0 to Gaddis. 2-0 to Gaddis. There was another trade today, and this one was very interesting. Nick Swisher and Michael Bourne were traded to the Atlanta Braves for Chris Johnson. How about that one?
Yeah, Swish back in it. Swish-alicious.
And Bourne to Atlanta. A couple guys with big contracts that the Indians were trying to get rid of. A shot to Valencia. Dropped it, picked it up, throws. Tanner digs it out. 2 outs.
Good play by Mark over there, picking up Valencia with that throw. That ball was hit really hard by Gaddis.
No second out. Here's Tucker. So there's the names involved. And there's some money involved. Now, Swisher is signed through next year for $15 million. Michael Bourne is signed through next year for $14 million.
Wow.
So what it sounded like is the Indians sent those 2 players and some money to the Atlanta Braves for Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson, a third base, first base, big right-handed hitter. But he has a contract through 2017 that has $17 million left on it. So there was some money moved around. And it's interesting. The Indians really wanted to get out from those 2 veteran contracts. Valencia made the catch. There's a little shift on, so that made the sprint even further from Valencia, but he made a very nice play. So have a night, Danny Valencia. Check it out. 7th inning stretch coming up. As he and the Athletics leading 3-1 bottom of the 7th inning. Dallas Keuchel back out there. Keuchel throwing his 95th pitch of the night.
And he's hung in there pretty good. Like, you know, you pointed out he hasn't had his A stuff today, but this is what good pitchers do. Keep you in the ball game, chance to win.
Shortstop takes care of Coco Crisp. Well, 6 1/3 tonight for Dallas Keuchel, so he extends that stretch. He has now gone 34 consecutive outings of at least 6 innings. That's impressive.
Very impressive.
Josh Fields up for the 2nd time. Just looking at his starts this year, and he's been very consistent. This one looped into right center. Gomez gets there, so Laurie is retired. The most runs he has given up in a start this year is 5. And he's done that a couple of times. But he has not had one of those starts, which even the real good starters have one of those just duds, you know, where you give up 7 runs,
7 or 8, yeah,
3 innings. He has not had one of those.
Yeah, he's really found a formula, and it's not like he was a number 1 pick or a 1st-round pick. He was a 7th round pick. You know, he spent a couple years in the minors. He's 27. He had a pretty good year last year.
He got 12 wins last year through 200 innings, and that's when he really came into his own. You know what, Chavi, he is not a free agent, and we're talking about Keuchel till after the 2018 season, so he is just starting things here. And the Astros, you don't have to worry about losing to free agency. Try to lock him up to a long-term deal if you would like. If not, you go to arbitration with him 3 times.
Yeah, you're going to lose the numbers he's putting up. I was looking at the salaries between these 2 guys. They're totaling just over $1 million for the two of the best pitchers in the league. They're going to get theirs. I mean,
they will get
these guys they're pretty good and very competitive. Just be patient. Timing is everything in this game.
Well, Sonny Gray, after this year, will have 2 years and 61 days in the big league, so he still will not be eligible for arbitration.
Yeah. Yeah, Dallas tries to sneak a fastball on the inside part of the plate, kind of creeps back over. And Valencia put a good swing, didn't miss it. Takes a little jog around the bases. He's looked good tonight. He had an approach where he went the other way in his other at bat and swinging the bat pretty good right now.
Two pitch, chase to high fastball, and Keuchel gets his second consecutive 3-up, 3-down inning. So 8th inning coming up. Sonny Gray and the A's hanging on to a 3-1 lead.
Is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
So on Italian Heritage Night, these fans having a good time, and they have seen a good ball game. As expected, Sonny Gray and Dallas Keuchel have hooked up, and Sonny Gray has outpitched Keuchel so far through the first 7 innings, as he has a 3-1 lead. We were talking about Dallas Keuchel and his outings this year. This is what these two guys have done tonight. Each has gone 7. No walks, 4 strikeouts for Gray, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts for Keuchel. Sonny Gray has not had an outing where he got totally knocked around either. High in the air, it should reach the seats. The most earned runs he has allowed this year in any start is 5. He's done that twice. His shortest amount of innings pitched this year is 5. He's done that twice. But again, not a game where he just got knocked out of the box early.
No, he's thrown the ball really well this year. I mean, pretty impressive.
Toward Coco, who moves to his left. He's got it. Valbuena's retired. first time Valbuena has been retired. He had a single and a homer. So 93 pitches now for Sonny Gray as he faces Jason Castro. Castro, the 9th place hitter, so Altuve will follow. First pitch is a strike on the inside corner. Blue Jays beat the Yankees 2-1 in 10 innings. Jose Bautista with a home run in the 10th inning to give the Jays the 2-1 lead, and that was the final. Jays ever have a game where they don't hit a home run? Donaldson hit another one. He's got 30. Teixeira homered. He's got 30. So the Jays are now 3.5 games behind the Yankees in the AL East, and the Jays have won 6 in a row and 9 out of 10. They are making their move, folks.
They are making noise.
Yes, they are. I think the Yankees can. Well, they saw it firsthand tonight because they played each other, but the Yankees can feel those Blue Jays hot on their heels. Again, 3.5 games back now.
And that was, I think, one of the biggest shock trades that had happened. Tulo going to Toronto. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Castro up the middle, a base hit it hard. So a 1-out single, and now you go to the top of the order.
Now batting, number 27, Jose.
Yeah, stays on that fastball, down and away. Good piece of hitting.
There's those updated East standings. You said the Orioles are playing down in Anaheim. Rays lost to the Mets. Angels leading the Orioles 6-4 in the 6th. First pitch to Altuve. Broken bat. Valencia has it. Out at second. Throw to first. Taylor digs it out. It's a double play. 5-4-3, and Sonny Gray is out of the inning. So bottom of the 8th coming up. It's the A's leading 3-1. Summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 1-5-1 for the Astros. 3-9-0 for the Athletics. Keuchel and Gray the story, and they are both still in the game. Valbuena a home run, Valencia a home run. Couple of hits for Danny Valencia. So both pitchers pitching well. Keuchel at times has pitched through quite a bit of traffic tonight. Sonny Gray, on the other hand, has been strong, and there's some campaigning going on right here. So we'll see what happens. The bullpen is quiet right now. Sonny Gray is sitting at 98 pitches, 3 outs away from a complete game. A's will have Monday off. That'll be a travel day. They'll be heading to Toronto. Correa to his left, throws in time. So Billy Butler is retired. He's 0 for 4. That's Asher Wojciechowski for the Astros. As Keuchel gets in some trouble. 7 in a row retired by Keuchel. There's the pitches tonight, 105. The average on the season, right at about 105. He's got a pretty simple delivery. It's not a taxing delivery.
Effortless. Really like the fact that he came back out for the 8th. I mean, he had 100 pitches in the 7th.
I like that too. And the way he's throwing, and he, like you said, that's 8 in a row retired. Really, the only bad inning for him was the second when he threw 26 pitches. That's when the A's had 3 hits and a walk against him.
Now batting shortstop, number 10, Marcus Semien.
But then again, that old complete game loss is never any fun either. That's becoming a fairly strong possibility for Keuchel.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to come back out for the 9th, but he easily could have been in the showers right now with a good outing. 7 innings, 100 pitches, kept his team in the game.
So Pomeranz will just start to get loose. 1-1 to Marcus Semien, who's got a couple hits tonight, couple of singles. Mariners have taken the lead over the Rangers 4-3. A couple of solo home runs. Nelson Cruz and Robinson Cano back to back. So Nelson Cruz is hot. His 32nd home run of the year. And they hit those back to back off Cole Hamels.
Nelson Cruz hits the ball hard.
Oh my goodness. And he's streaky, and he's hot right now. There's a hit for Semien. He's 3 for 4. And AJ Hinch pops out of the dugout, and he's looking down. He looked down to that bullpen right when he jumped out of the dugout, and he's going to go to Wojciechowski. So Keuchel goes 7 2/3 and pitched well, but he will not get his 14th win of the year. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up, your oil change, tune up, and brake experts.
Giveaway, driven by Chevrolet. Big Mac will be on hand as we honor his A's career. The all-time A's home run leader helped the A's reach 3 straight World Series from 1988 to 1990 and win the title in '89. For tickets, call 877-493-BALL or visit athletics.com.
So Asher Wojciechowski comes in, trying to get the final out here in the bottom of the 8th inning as he faces Canna. Goes after the first pitch and skies it to shallow left field. Tucker has it, side retired. We are going to the top of the 9th. It's the A's 3, the Astros 1. Sonny Gray coming back out. Complete game.
3rd of the year.
Yep, he's got 2 complete games. Both of those were shutouts. He gave up the Valbuena home run tonight. Ike Davis comes in at first. And Sonny. First pitch to Carlos Gomez is low. So next pitch will be pitch number 100. Pomerantz is getting loose and close to being ready to go out in the bullpen. Gomez is 0 for 3. 2 fly balls and a ground out. And there's a strike. Correa to follow, and then the switch hitter Jed Lowry. If anybody got on, it'd be Colby Rasmus. Popped up. Davis. Foul territory. 1 out.
Here's tonight's Honda Player of the Game, and this one's a pretty clear choice. Sonny Gray, 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 0 base on balls, and 4 Ks. He really controlled the game from the get-go. Gave up the 1 home run to Valbuena, but he's pitched outstanding tonight.
So he gets the first out, which is big. Don't want that tying run to come to the plate. Like to keep the bases empty. First pitch to Correa is a fastball on the inside corner for a strike. Correa has hit a pair of fly balls to right field, and he has singled. So the crowd tonight, over 18,000, is into it. And Sonny Gray going for the complete game. And now it's 0-2. 5 hits allowed for Gray, 4 strikeouts. He has not walked anybody. The 2 pitch, and Correa one around for the strikeout. 2 away here in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, it looks like Sonny goes to that slider we were talking about, and Correa could not lay off of it. Just an outstanding performance by Sonny tonight. In control from the first pitch.
So Lowry steps in with 2 outs and nobody aboard here in the 9th inning. First pitch. A check swing fouled right at the plate.
He looks like he could just keep going and going for another.
Looks like he
5-6 innings. I mean,
he's retired 8 out of the last 9. Showing why he is indeed one of the best. Breaking ball, Lowry takes it low, 1-1 the count. Lowry has struck out twice and hit a fly ball to right field. On the ground, scooped up, Lowry, and that's the ball game. It's Sonny Gray with a complete game. He allows just a solo home run. And just 5 hits to the Houston Astros, and what a performance by Sonny Gray tonight. Good enough for him to get his 12th win of the year. So Danny Valencia, one of the stars, but Sonny Gray again, a bright spot in what has been a tough season for the Athletics this year. The game took 2 hours and 20 minutes, and the attendance tonight 19,908. Sonny Gray walks off a winner, and he did not need any help tonight. He decided to do it himself. So the 3rd complete game of the year for one Mr. Sonny Gray. So he outpitches his all-star buddy, Dallas Keuchel. And I think you could tell 2 things early on, Eric. You could tell Keuchel maybe not quite as sharp as we've seen him in the past. He had a lot of base runners, pitched through a lot of traffic. Sonny Gray, on the other hand, looked sharp early on, and really, he was only in trouble in 1 inning.